Tonight, President Trump bidding farewell to Omarosa Manigault Newman, who was tasked with outreach to the black community.
I like Omarosa. Omarosa is a good person.
A former reality TV star, now Omarosa is stirring up a real-life drama, today announcing her plans for a tell-all about her experiences as the most high-profile African-American in the Trump West Wing.
I have seen things that have made me uncomfortable, that have upset me, that have affected me deeply and emotionally, that has affected my community and my people. And when I can tell my story, it is a profound story that I know the world will want to hear.
One of her reported frustrations, President Trump's response to the white nationalist marches in Charlottesville.
I think there's blame on both sides.
And she's no stranger to controversy of her own.
Every critic, every detractor will have to bow down to President Trump.
Today, Omarosa pushed back against reports Chief of Staff John Kelly fired her and had her escorted off White House grounds Tuesday night.
I resigned. John Kelly and I sat down in the Situation Room, which is a very secure, very quiet room in the White House, and we had a very candid conversation.
Omarosa is one of only 3 black officials among President Trump's more than 36 cabinet members and senior staffers. Her departure raising questions about diversity at the White House at all levels.
Look, we have a really diverse team across the board at the White House. I don't have a number directly in front of me, specifically not African American.
There clearly needs to be somebody of color at the table talking with the president and helping the president understand the needs of the African American community.
A source close to the White House says Omarosa was escorted off the grounds after trying to enter the residence to appeal her firing. That's an account Omarosa calls 100% false. The Secret Service says it was not involved in removing Omarosa, but did deactivate her high-level security pass.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.